Hi, how you guys doing? Today I'm going to feature this nifty little mini pedal. This is from NUX. This is the MG400. How the quick tone editor works with the MG400. Now in short, you're going to have all this graphic layout. You have the amp, and this is my clean patch, which is John Clean on 15A. Now on the left hand side you can see whether it's a user or factory. In this case it's a user, where I can kind of edit over. The factory section is where everything is like kind of gray out, so you cannot save or edit any of these factory presets. So on a user, you can kind of like play around with it and kind of improve the original sound and call it yourself and call it your own name, and you could have all sorts of stuff happening. So basically I'm just going to do a demonstration on this clean patch that I have. Now I have a deluxe amp set up here. I have a reverb here, a spring reverb just for air. Now on the amp itself, on the right hand side, you can see this cabinet with the microphone stand, which is directly down here. Now the microphone stand, if you right click on the microphone itself, you are given the option of 4 microphones to choose from. The C414, the E906, which is a rabbit mic, a U87, which is a tube mic, and the SM57. And you can kind of shift your microphone around, so you can have right the side of the cone or smack in the middle of the cone. Now, as of the cabinet itself, if you right click on it, you'll call up the various cabinet simulation IRs that is available. You have right now I'm using a Black 12. Well, let's hear how it sounds like. Now, if I use the tweet, this is a 412. It sounds really different. Let's do the greenback 412. And then you have so many of even bass cabinets, bass amp cabinets. On the bottom here, you can see the user. Now, this is where you can load in your own individual IRs, your third-party IRs that you procured. I could load in my speaker IRs or speaker simulation IRs from my Line 6 native if I choose to, right? Now, if you left-click on the speaker itself, the speaker cabinet itself, you are given an option to decide how loud you want these IRs to be, and a further option of EQ, where you can have your low cut filter and your high cut filter employed onto your speaker IRs. Now I'm going to go back to my Black 12. Now, all these effects that you see, the chain, they are all interchangeable. I mean, the positions are not fixed, not like the MG300. You can kind of move them around, as you can see from here. All right. So on the first of the chain, I had a noise gate. Now, in this case, if you right-click on the noise gate, you are given the option of only one noise gate effects, and you can have it turning on or off. And there are the parameters here. On the second chain, I have a compressor, and I can kind of like dictate what sort of compressor I want to use. I have the red compressor, the rose compressor, the studio compressor. Now the studio compressor looks like this, all right, and the red compressor looks like this. Then on the third chain, I have a booster, and here, if you right-click on it, you're given the options of distortion, boosters, overdrives, a lot of overdrives, and even a fuzz, as well as a touch wah. And then you have the amp itself, the speaker cabinet, and then I have the EQ, which I can have a choice between 6-band EQ, which is you can see here, or 10-band EQ. This is useful if you want to kind of radically change the sound or fine-tune your sound, and it's really useful when you're employing the scenes, which we're going to talk about later. And then you have the modulation effects. If you right-click on it, you can see all this chorus, vibrato, detuning, flanger, phasers, univibe, tremolo, harmony. So you can have a choice of wherever you want to do, like, all this stuff, right? And then again, turn on and off, right? And then I have the delay. So I'm given a choice of analog delay, digital delay, modulation, delay with modulation, tape echo, reverse pan, and fill delay. And yeah, basically that's it before the reverb. And if I right click on the reverb, I'm given a choice of the room reverb, hall reverb, plate, spring, shimmer, or damp. And on the final one, you have the PL, which stands for patch level, right? If you right click on it, you are given this window, this pop-up window, which will help you decide what's your minimum level and what's your maximum level when you are depressing your foot controller. So I like to set it this way. Some players will probably like set it on 25 or 50 or whatever, so that the unit is always, there's always sound coming out from it. For me, I would want to have it off completely if I back off the controller. And then on the bottom, you have the level of the patch itself. So you can have different levels for each different patches that you created. All right, basically that's it. Now, on the top right-hand corner, you can see the S1, S2, and S3, and these are the scenes. So you can kind of like add in, subtract effects, on every scene. So I'm on scene 1, all right? So if I go to scene 2, I have my reverb and my delay on this time. All right. For my scene 1, I only had my compressor, my amplifier, and my reverb. Scene 2, I have my compressor, amplifier, and delay and reverb. Scene 3, I have everything. I have the noise gate, I have the compressor, I have the booster, as well as the delay and reverb. Now I can add other things if I want, but then it's only 3 scenes, so I have to decide which one I want. Now these scenes can be called up on the floor unit by hitting the Control B, so you can kind of scroll around a bit. So I guess it might be a little bit tricky if you're playing live on stage, but I think with practice this will be quite seamless. Right? So on the top here you can actually see a couple options. You have the drum and loop, where when you're doing a looping function, you can actually kind of decide, what you want, the tempo of the loop, the drums, how loud you want the drums to be, bass, even a EQ section for you, and you can have the loop in mono and stereo and the record and all this type of stuff, right? And then you have a expression pedal where you can kind of like decide whether you want your tap to be where, you can, like I was talking about, like right now I have this set to scene 3 or scene scrolling, right? Whether you want it on and off, right? So you can kind of scroll through, and that's about it. So on the first control 1 button, I have it set as tap tempo. You can kind of set it whatever you want, they are given options here to kind of individually activate a certain effects if you want to, right? And then you have your export, where you can export this patch onto your desktop or wherever you want to, and then you can import other people's patches, like your friends' patches or anywhere else you get. I think there's a forum where they have all these MG patches available, so you can kind of import them into the unit. Then of course you can save. And then you have the setting where you can kind of like dictate what's your recording level when you're hooking up this unit via USB onto your computer, and you are given other options like the reamping option is really good, in case you're recording something and you just want it to change the sound further, and the knob control where it's straight around. I haven't played with all this yet, so I'm not really sure, right? And finally, that's it. On the left hand side, as I said, you can have all these user patches to work from. So you can kind of like get that patch and then kind of improve on it to your liking, to your taste. All right. Now on the front panel, you can see there are actually 4 foot switches here. Now the first one would kind of like let you scroll up and down, or rather up the patches, and the bottom one here to scroll down. And this has a bit of an orange cover on top, just so that you can kind of like protect the screen, this puny little screen here, in case your leg or your shoe, crack the screen. Now from here you have the Control 1 and Control 2. And as spoken before, Control 2 lets me toggle with the scenes. If you can see right here real small, you can see that the scene is changing. All right. And then on the Control 1, I've set it to tap tempo. You can see the light blinking in conjunction to how I tap. Right? And if you were to go into the tuner mode, you can just press these 2 together and you'll hit the tuner mode. All right? To exit, again, same thing, 2 button at the same time, and you exit out. Now, here you have the master volume, so you can kind of like decide how loud you want to be. On this bottom level right below the screen, you have a select, where you can kind of select whatever you want and kind of scroll through by depressing this and, and decide where you want to do. In this case, I'm actually selecting what sort of amp I want. If you want to exit, you just press exit and you go back to the patch again. These 3 knobs will kind of like help you adjust all the parameters that are in the effects itself or in the amp. Like for example, if I go ahead and hit this edit mode, I can kind of switch between the amp setting or the various pedal setting. For example, this is a tremolo. I can kind of like adjust whatever one. You can see, yeah, all the adjustment has been done. So if there are 3 parameters, then you can have another one, but this is just 2, so you're just adjusting this 2. Right? Once you're done, you can exit, and you're going back to the patch again. Now I'm going to go back to the patch again. Right after the, or right below the master volume, you have all these little buttons, right? The first one was the edit and the exit. Then you have the save, where you can save the preset. And then you have the mode, where you can kind of like decide how you want to hook up this unit. And you can actually use the select button here to decide you're going to have a combo rear, stack front, combo front, or pseudo direct, which is what I'm using right now. And if you're fine with that, just press it again, you're out. And then you have the jam, where you can go into the looper mode if you want to. The tap tempo is where you can actually tap here if you want to, instead of doing it there. At this control 1 foot switch. You can do it here if you want to, but that will involve bending down and, manually tapping it with your finger. But in any case, this is where it kind of like indicates to you the tempo. And then you have the pedal, where you can press this and decide what you want your pedal to be, to control. You can see that this is like kind of like changing every time I hit the pedal button. You can have it set to wah, which is right now set to wah. So when I depress this tip, it will go to a wah-wah pedal. But I could change this to a effects or an amp setting, or to the mod. But in this case, I'm just going to keep it real simple and set it to my wah-wah. And right here below, you have the control, where you can decide how you want your these two control 1 and control 2 foot switch to be representing. Like in my case, the control 2 is controlling the scene 1 toggle to scene 3, and the control 1 is controlling my tap tempo. So exit out, and you're back to the patch again. So I'm going to show you how this jam button works with the looper. So if you hit the jam button, you are presented with the various drum patterns. Now you can audition them by hitting this control 2, right? And you can kind of scroll through the various patterns. Right. Now, if you hit the control button here, you are presented with option of whether this drum loop is going to be in mono or in stereo, and then you can kind of further EQ your drum sound. So to start the whole looping process, you just have to hit Control 2 to start the drum loop, and then this is hard to do. So if you want to stop this whole thing, all you need to do is to press Control 2 twice really quick. And to clear, all you need to do is to depress Control 1, just hold it down and it's cleared. And you can start all over again. If you're new to this channel, you might just want to subscribe to this channel and press that bell for notification of future videos, and be part of Patreon to support this channel. I would appreciate it. I want to thank Monk from NUX for passing me this pedal, well, this multi-effects pedal for review. Like I said, this is a nifty little unit, mostly meant for small studios or home practices and whatever. But I think it's potential is so much more. I believe you can actually use this in a live gig if you want to, or a church service if you need to. Given the fact it only has 4-foot switches, but you can get around with it. Okay, basically this is a multi-effects pedal. You have amp simulation, cabinet simulation, various pedals and effects, and an option for you to hook this up either to an amp going mono or to a PA system stereo if you want to. So there are many options available. Now let's just go through the back panel. You have the input jack. You have a aux in where you can have your MP3 player connected to it. You have the output. So this a stereo out, and you can have the left as a mono out if you want to. You have phones out, so you can play this silently in your house without your loved one screaming at you. And you have the USB where you can connect to your computer and use this as an interface if you want to, or have your firmware updates, or connect this to the QuickTone editor software that is downloadable from NUX, which is so good because you can kind of do all your tweaking on a computer screen instead of this little smaller screen that you have here. And then you have the power switch on and off, and the power in. So this is what it is. Right, so I'm going to read what this unit has to offer to you guys. So basically you have a 2.8-inch 240 color LCD, and you have all these various effects like noise reduction, compressor, overdrives, and whatever, and you are able to kind of independently move these pedals within the chain. Now the MG300 didn't give you the option, so now they have given you this option in MG400, which is so cool. And of course you have the white box amp modeling and stuff, IR samples, and you are given the option to load in your own personal IRs if you want to. Right? You can also have bass amps IR. They also have bass amp IRs provided, and even acoustic guitar IRs, which is so cool. You also have 5 output modes, which I was telling you guys about, where you can hook this up to a PA system, stereo, or front of a combo amp, front of a power amp, back of the effects loop and stuff like that. And the USB recording interface, which I spoke about, firmware updates, and of course the QuickTone edit software. Now this is what the MG400 can offer to you. It also has a looper as well as a drum machine. So it's basically a looper with a drum machine, but you can choose various patterns. A controller, full controller, where you can have this as a volume, and there's a toggle switch here where you can activate your wah-wah or whatever you want. The option is given to you by this little pedal switch here, where you can use it as a reverb, for example, and hit it and you activate the reverb. Hit the toe switch and you activate something else, right? And it's very clean. The unit itself on the front panel, you can actually do everything here if you want to. But I find that working with the QuickTone edit is much simpler, and everything is set up in a way where you have your patch up and patch down. And then I have this control 1 and control 2 where you have a whole lot of other functions which I've spoken about in the demo section. Now, what do I think about this unit? Now, this unit may be more suited for home recording or for home practices. But like I said before, I think this has so much potential. You can actually use this in small little gigs if you want to, without any haptic tone changing. Because you can actually change through the different patches if you want to. So I have 4 patches which are included in the unit when it comes out, and it ranges from clean, semi-clean, distortion, and full drive, which I named it as John Sex Drive. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. In any case, there was something wrong with the patches when I downloaded the firmware. Some of the tweaking, especially from the delay in the reverb, was a bit off. So I've managed to contact NUX and uploaded them the edited version. So if you're going to procure this unit in the future, remember to update your firmware or download my patch if you're interested. Right. I think it sounds great, The various amp simulations are workable. I mean, a lot of multi-effects have almost the same thing. And this gives you a whole lot of options, even with the quality of the sound, the looper, and the fact that you can load in your own IRs, which is quite common these days anyway. But the sound quality is up there. And for the price that it's going for, it's a steal. There are various options for the output. Yeah, you can. I can see myself using this in church if I want to, if I don't want to carry my Helix, all the way to the pulpit or to the stage. This will do, and you'll get the job done. So as it is right now, you can enter the tuner mode by depressing Control 1 and 2, right? And to exit, same thing. I have this Control 1 set to tap tempo, so I can kind of dictate what tempo I want, and Control 2 to kind of like scroll through my scenes. And the scene is really useful, especially with this limited amount of switches. So you can kind of like toggle with the patches, or up and down. But within one patch, you can kind of have 3 separate scenes or 3 different settings to play around with. So it's pretty useful. Cool. Now this time around, the manual is really well written. No surprise because it's written by my friend Monk himself, and it's really concise, really clear. So if you're in doubt, just check out the manual and you'll figure your way around this unit. Now the unit is going to be available soon. It's going to be released on the 8th of September, and for its price that it's going for, I think it's worthwhile multi-effects to get if you have not have any multi-effects yet. So you can give it a try. Again, I want to thank Monk from NUX for passing me this pedal for this review. Let me know what you think about this pedal and leave your comments in the comment section down below. I want to hear from you and see what do you think compared to the MG30, for example. Now the MG30 for me, it's more suited for live work because you can have other options like a MIDI foot switch, for example. This is a bit limited, so there are many ways to get around it. These guys in the NUX forum, or rather the NUX page in Facebook, they are really something because they can come up with all sorts of options. And if you're interested in NUX MG300, MG30, go find that page in Facebook. You're gonna love these people there. So again, let me know what you think about this unit, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and join this channel. Press that bell for notification of future videos, and follow and be part of Patrons to support this channel. I would appreciate it. I thank all my patrons for their wonderful love, the support, and their friendship. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon. So please take care of yourself and have fun making music. Ciao.